Okay, we're outside because this thing is massive. Here's what I've found so far, and this is acting the same as in the store. Powered on, head starts spinning, the motor there. Ooh, frame rate. Eject works. Put the tape in that it came with, and it immediately goes into rewind and then shuts down. And I was trying to figure out why it was doing that until I realized, oh, it's because it's at the end of the tape. These tapes are backwards. See, a tape goes from there to there. There's an arrow. So if I go and see, there's that little light and there's a sensor, end of tape sensor. If I go like that and then power it on and off again, it's no longer trying to rewind. And as soon as I lift the screwdriver out, it tries to rewind. It is at the end of the tape, but rewind's not working. All right, now I've moved the tape to where the clear leader isn't present. And it's no longer trying to rewind. Fast forward still doesn't work. Rewind still doesn't work. But play does in fact work. Until it gets to the end and then tries to rewind. So now it's going to go into rewind, unload the tape, and then faults out. So the problem appears to be with fast forward and rewind. Now down here there seems to be lots of torque on this idler. Let's see if I can show me manually pushing it. I can push it into either reel table and they will spin nicely. So I'm not sure it's a belt issue. And the thing is, like, I don't even hear a motor spinning. It fully shuts down. There it is. This one was hidden behind the wood panel on the side. Every expensive piece of electronics from this era had someone's personally identifying number on it to prevent theft. That's interesting. There was this screw rattling around inside. Wow, the belts look fantastic. Like, this looks well taken care of. I don't think it's belts. So I've been fiddling with all these little levers, and I think it's just gummed up. By fiddling with these, one of them engages the idler tire for fast forward, one does rewind, one is eject. So these are all of these have sort of a function, it seems. And by messing around with them, I've got this cover because of the broad sunlight, broad daylight messing with the sensors. Fast forward now works. It's just rewind that doesn't work. So I'm thinking that, yeah, it's just gummed up in here. I don't want to just go spraying grease everywhere because I want to know what's gummed up, but I'm sure there's a proper lubrication procedure for this that definitely needs to be followed. All right, check this out. I'm gonna do these real quickly because I don't want to stay in the mode, but see those four little piano levers? That's fast forward. That's play. This one's eject. It's gotta shoot up here. But watch what happens when I hit rewind. So again, fast forward, and then rewind, nothing. So what happens is it pushes this down, then it engages the solenoid down here. So this solenoid is like the go into whatever mode, and then these preset the mode. And I think if you hit none of them, it's supposed to just go into stop without pushing any of these down. So this doesn't want to move down. Like, each of these will freely move up and down. This one's jammed for some reason. So I got to figure out why it's jammed up. Shit, that was just dry grease. I pushed really hard and then it went down and now it's stuck down. Yeah, I think I just need to spray that with, what should I spray it with? It looks like metal on metal, so oil. A dab of oil on the shaft would probably do wonders, although it looks like it's got grease on it, so maybe like lithium grease. There we go. not as good as the other ones, but it's getting better as it works its way in here. See, these are all instant. I may need to figure out exactly what to put in there properly, but that should work. It appears to be a tension problem. So right now it's in rewind mode. Put a little cover on the end of tape sensor so it doesn't try and fast forward. Watch what happens when I pull this tension back. Why is this engaging in rewind? This motor is driving. There should be tension on this one, not this one. But this is just sitting here. What happens when the tape is in? How does that affect this? Huh. Is this engaged by like a solenoid? So if I go like that, it's good. This should be pulled back. See, now it's fast forwarding. Good. Stop fast forwarding. It's the dang sunlight. I have it covered. So now rewind again. Yeah, this should be fully disengaged. It should be pulling this back, and then it can rewind. And now fast forward to today, some 5 months later. So I've been sitting on this U-Matic VCR that I picked up this summer on a whim. It wasn't even in a local Discord. It was in a Discord, but I knew they live in the same city as me, posted a picture of this when they went thrifting in Value Village. And I had just gone to that store that Saturday, and he was there like an hour before or after me and posted a picture of it, like, hey, look at this. I'm like, I didn't see that. Oh yeah, it was by furniture. Okay. And I could see in his photo it was $120. I'm like, that's a lot. This is a very old model. I doubt it's gonna work, but I thought about it. I went, okay, maybe if I demonstrate that it doesn't work, they'll be a little bit flexible on the price. So I go in and haul this thing over to an outlet, and it weighs a ton. This weighs so much. It's but the heaviest and biggest machine I have by a long shot. Anyway, I haul it over to an outlet, and sure enough, it does what it showed in that video at the beginning there, just sticks and rewind. Couldn't get it to do anything. So I, ask them if there's any flexibility on the price, and we kind of go back and forth, and we met at 50. And I was like, okay, I'm good with that. I had come prepared with a 20% off coupon regardless, so I got this bad boy for $40, which, that's fair. It needs work, but it did come with the remote. Let me grab that here. Oh yeah. And really the only thing missing in standard Value Village fashion is the knobs. These were missing, and I don't know if it's just these crappy customers that go in and steal all the knobs just out of impulse, or if there's employees that work there that just take the knobs off and sell them on eBay. Knobs are always gone. Stereos, anything that has a knob that you can pull off and sell to audiophiles, it's gone, and it's sitting on eBay for $25. That's my theory anyway. But anyway, I ended up with this. A while ago I did a video on a JVC VCR that's quite a tank. Here's a photo of that JVC on top of this, just to give you an idea of scale here. It's massive. So what is it? It's a Sony VO-2600. I'll grab the front cover here. I think it's from around 1975, maybe earlier, maybe 72, I think. I looked all this up back in July before sitting on it for a while. Anyway, it's old as hell, and it's a U-Matic VCR. And the cool thing about it is that it came with a tape. And on this tape is some training material for a company. And when I looked up the company, it was like a small consulting company And the owner of it, I believe, bought this and used it back then, because he's in the video. And apparently, I think he passed away fairly recently. So this might have been from his estate, which is kind of unfortunate. At one point, there's a video, I'm not going to show it, but there's probably like a 13-year-old girl or like young girl with the camera. So this was probably set up in the basement, right? And she's like singing along to like a song on camera, like you did back in when you were a kid. And you're like, I want to be on the camera. And you could see in the background, there was an old TV like that sitting on top of a big cart with this underneath. So what they had is they had a camera, not a camcorder, a camera. And you could tell it was one of those old Trinicon tubes, very dark, very wishy-washy, plugged into this bad boy. And it was probably the commercial equipment that gentleman had bought for his consulting business back in the 70s or 80s. Maybe he bought it used, but this would have cost a pretty penny. And that, I think that video was from like the mid 90s. You could date it based on like songs and what they're, oh no, that's right. One of the videos, they were singing, "Don't You Put It in Your Mouth."
Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you stuff it in your face. Don't stuff it in your face.
Anyway, so cool seeing that this was used basically when I was a kid. You know, it's a tank. It would have been used indefinitely. As you saw, the belts in it are in fantastic shape. So, like, really, the only problem with it that I had was that might not have enough light in here to see. As I showed earlier, these piano keys, specifically the rewind one, was a little sticky, and it's still a little sticky. I think I actually have to take this whole mechanism apart to get that out. And the other problem that I showed was the rewind tension. And let's take a look here. Let me get some light. Bear with me with the bad lighting. There's these adjustments here. So these springs control, I think this one controls the tension while playing, and this one pulls this arm fully back during fast forward or rewind, or at least that's what it's supposed to do. And it wasn't quite doing it. So I've adjusted this to pull a little bit better. And I believe now with rewind, perfect. The only problem that I have is that the brake for this wheel doesn't appear to work. So the supply reel, when you're in rewind, when you hit stop, it kind of lets a little bit of slack there. So let's do fast forward. And it stops. And rewind. See, it just spools out a little bit. The brake pads look fine under there, so that could be something that's just gummed up. There's a lot of gummed up stuff in here. Anyway, the reason it's taken so long to make this video is tapes. I wanted some tapes to play with. It came with this one tape, and in addition, I had these 4 tapes, which of all things I dumpster dove back during the pandemic. Again, Discord, someone took a picture of a dumpster behind a business that was just full of videotapes, VHS and U-Matic, and I thought, oh, wow, that's really cool. I kind of want U-Matic tapes just to have them, right? I love obscure formats. This wasn't really obscure, but, you know, to my eyes it is. I haven't really played with it. And I didn't really pay attention. I just kind of grabbed a smattering. In hindsight, I should have grabbed them all, but hey, you know. And I got some cool stuff here. These are tapes for K-Tel. So K-Tel was a company based out of Winnipeg, city I live in, that sold compilation albums. You've probably seen those, like K-Tel Presents Records.
Blockbusters, 20 original hits, original stars. Be sure to get the best from K-Tel. LP $5.99, tape $6.99.
The type of albums that tried to cram way too many songs onto records, that paid cheaper artists to re-record and perform songs so they didn't have to pay royalties. Kind of that, like, as seen on TV. Here's one. Actually, this is a record that I grew up playing as a kid. No, I'm not that old. It's just, this was one of the ones that was beat up that I was allowed to play with. And here's another. K-Tel 20 Instrumental Classics. Raunchy, Wipeout, Rebel Rouser. So, like, just, they were the kings of these compilation albums. They did compilation albums for artists, for genres, for everything. And there's a bunch of these commercials. Here's one, Demo 21, K-Tel TVCs, various countries. If you open it up, Demo Reel. I think this might be PAL. I have another one that's for sure PAL. It's labeled that. When these play, PAL's the same speed, so you get audio, but you just, the video's scrambled.
Mary Hopkins, Janet Dean, Oliver Onions und vielen anderen. Summer in the city. Come with me for fun in my bag. Sommerzeit, Partyzeit. Beach Party, das Doppelalbum zum Superpreis. Beach Party.
So of course, I happened to find some U-Matic tapes, and 1 to 2 of them won't even play. Oh yeah, mode, PAL. So this one, and there's another one here. Yeah, this one's PAL. This is Commodore's. But I think there was some, like this Precious Memories, I was able to get it playing.
Spend your quiet moments with Ackerbilk. It's in stores now.
And what's this one? It's one of those weird slider cases. Ooh. Yeah. K-Tel International Records. Sundown. 60-second English and then 2 30-second English promos. Because, like, U-Matic was used for master tapes. This is what people used before Betacam. This was like the format, and it got adopted by professionals. Like, this predates Beta or VHS by, I want to say, 5 years? I'm going to put the year of when this came out. I think it was like between 72 and 75, and maybe 70. It's pretty early. Never really got adopted into the home market just because of the expense and size and everything, but yeah, it got used by productions. So to continue on with my long, rambly introduction here, I ran into a bunch more tapes. These are from BC, somewhere in BC, and I've only briefly looked at them. There's a lot that are unlabeled. These appear to be masters for local TV stations. Here, Kids Show for Tuesday, stand by. This one's just random though. Ford Video Network, training, demonstrating the car and negotiating the price. There was some here. 1 second. Here we go. These Sonys. Some of those have CBC, like local CBC affiliate programming for BC. And yeah, like these are masters of whatever programming was being aired. Tape 1, 50 minutes, 54 seconds, already edited. So this is the final copy that would have gone on TV, I guess. That's pretty cool. But I still have problems with this. Problem the first. The video is actually blanking on me. So when I play some tapes, it first kind of flickered on and off on a tape, and it was going black. It wasn't getting dirt, it was just going black. And the audio was still there, and I kind of slapped the top and it came back. Now, I don't remember if this blanks the video when the signal is too low, so maybe some of these tapes are just shedding and they're gumming up the head. But when I would pause, I would get a clear picture, which actually could mean that it's gummed up, because I think on this it would only use one field for pause, right? It would just double swipe it. I have no idea how U-Matic works, but I know on VHS usually pause and special effects will give you a clear picture if one of your heads is gummed up. So maybe it's that. The second problem was rewind is still acting up. So I'm gonna do the best cleaning that I can of all the gummed up old grease with Q-tips and some alcohol to try and free up as much of this as possible. But yeah, getting it to this state, look at the amount of stuff you have to take apart. Yeah, screws and everything. I just realized this TV's been on the whole time. Blanks the screen, blanks the audio. So if I hit forward... Oh yeah, that tape was spooled up in there.
Or an inability to learn on the job.
Okay, that's interesting. There might be some dirt in there. I did have a clear pause and then it just lost it.
Always have more difficulty, especially in management.
But it's not blanking. It's not blanking when there's dirt.
Also, anyone over age 40. So if you're in these groups, the instructor will say for
There we
your
go.
natural shortcomings.
Let's see what's on one of these edited master tapes. CFJC TV7. These blue streaks are only in the camera, they're not on the TV. Cool. So yeah, this is a program for CFJC, which I think there's just dirt and flecks of stuff. Let's see what else we got.
Oh, of course, here, I'll just move this lever here. There, now, that's pretty comfortable, isn't it? Well, that's great. Can we take it for a ride now?
I was glad to have the Barnetts agree to take a test drive. But from the way Mr. Barnett was settled behind the wheel, you might expect to go for a test drive without me. Of course, I never let customers go on a demonstration drive alone, because I want to be there to point out the features and the benefits of the car that they might not be aware of, and also to be there to handle any objections they may have. But there were two ways I could have handled getting into the car. Either walk around to the passenger side and let Mr. Barnett drive on, or to get him to slide over and drive myself. What would you have done?
If you would have let Mr. Barnett drive and gone along as a passenger, shift your audio selector to channel 1. If you would have gotten him to move over and then driven yourself, shift it to channel 2. Move your selector now to 1 or 2.
Okay, I'm going to move it to 1.
Choice.
Okay, so I have my audio selector
I
on 1.
decided not to let Mr. Barnett drive, even though it might have been easier.
both?
Instead, I asked him to slide over and give me the wheel for several good reasons. One, and most important, I wanted the car warmed up and performing at its best before Mr. Barnett took the wheel.
It's interesting.
Two, I didn't want him driving in the heavy traffic outside the dealership until I could familiarize him with the controls. And
There's a bit of interference. It's almost like the two channels are out of phase. I had the exposure locked there, but I was switching between channel 1 and channel 2. So this is actually like a choose your own adventure training video. And you can select the audio depending on what you choose. That's kind of cool. But when I have it in the middle, it almost kind of sounds like, it's like a ooh sound, and it almost sounds like the phasing is off. Like here. Let's see, play.
three, by driving myself,
That's mix.
I could choose a route which demonstrated the features the Barnetts were most interested in.
That's 2.
Return your selector to the mix position before going on.
That's mix.
Oh, sure thing, Mr. Barnett. Just as soon as I get the plates for it, so we can take it out on the highway. If you...
Yeah, it sounds much better on mix or on either of these. That could just be this being out of spec. Anyway, let's check out some more of these tapes. So here's an example of it blanking. As you can see, I've paused and we can see an image or a blank screen, but you know, it's gray, right? When I unpause, it blanks. And I don't know why. It's doing this on some tapes. And as far as I can tell, the heads are fine. I mean, you saw when the head got dirty, it was just actually showing noise. All right, maybe it is legitimately blank. This kids show for Tuesday, I've been fast forwarding through it and it's nothing but blank. And this is the one that when I hit play, blanks the screen. But maybe it's because it's been, well, not erased, but it's been blanked out. It doesn't make any sense to me that a machine like this would blank out the image, because that's very presumptuous. You want to see what you're queuing up. So yeah, I'm thinking that there's some sort of a electronic fault or a dirty switch somewhere causing it. I think when I was looking up documentation for it this summer, I really couldn't find much. I was hoping for like service documentation or a manual, but it's just so old, and this would have all been like not electronic. It would have been binders of this stuff. And I just don't think anyone's bothered to scan it or share it. Yeah, this tape's blank. What's next? Here's a Kodak Eastman professional video cassette designed for still picture reproduction. So was Kodak making some sort of a U-Matic machine that stored single images? Or is it just a very weird way of saying motion video? EP930. I have no idea. Either way, it's a beautiful looking tape. Yeah, see, this one doesn't blank. It just doesn't like certain tapes. Oh, wait, no, there it goes. What the hell? What? What's going on here? Oh shoot, this is recorded off TV. Yeah, it cuts out. And then when I pause, it's just snow. Alright, let's rewind this tape. Yeah, this is just stuff recorded off Much Music on this tape. It's actually really good quality. Like, the picture on this is phenomenal. This looks like how it would have looked on the TV channel on cable watching it back in the day. And it's wild to me because this is standard def 4:3 on a CRT television. And the only way I've been able to experience these old music videos that I remember is either YouTube or old recordings, you know, on beta or VHS that are just crap. 'Cause you don't have like good quality digital copies. And the good quality ones on YouTube are remasters, where they either film transferred it and upscaled it to 1080, or, you know, it's still got lots of digital compression. This has none of that. Anyway, that's as much as you're getting to that. But like, this is just perfect. I'm enjoying this. Sorry, too bad you can't. YouTube things. Wow, look at that old logo. That's cool. So that's a tape of music videos that I will save for later. Here's an unlabeled mystery tape. Why is it blanking? Is this tape just cooked? Because, like, no, it looks fine. Look, when I hit unpause.
Tickets for the new Bundolo show.
What the heck, man? What's going on? I figured I'd double check if it was the RF modulator. So I have it running through what feels like a blasphemously modern VCR. But no, as soon as I hit play, it blanks. Garfield? Why is Garfield on this tape? That's this tape here. Nero and Zero, 7778. It's so wacky to watch this because it comes out of the center. So these two spools rotate into like opposite directions to each other. Right now, this is spinning in this direction, so you'd think, oh, in VHS and beta terms, this is the take-up spool. But no, this is the supply spool. It's just spinning this way and pulling the tape in like that, and then spinning around. It's really a mind fuck.
The Ted Night Show, normally seen at this time, will not be presented tonight in order that we will bring you the following special presentation.
So is this someone's personal recordings? I mean, this is really good quality for someone's personal recordings, but it was clearly recorded off the air. Like, this is not a master tape or anything. It's just off of CBC. Anyway, I'm going to break for now and get back to this. Maybe I'll think a little bit about what could be causing this odd issue with the video blanking. But yeah, lots of tapes to go through. And weirdly enough, this one that has Garfield on it didn't blank. The music videos didn't blank, but some of the other ones do. And it really seems specific on the tape itself, either what's recorded on the tape or the tape itself. Is it maybe not getting a control track pulse? Does it blank if it's not getting a control track pulse? Because this would have that, obviously, to sync the video head up with the control tracks. And it wouldn't need that for pause, but when you hit play, it'll look for them. And if it doesn't see them, it assumes there's nothing on the tape, and it blanks. Maybe I just need to clean the head, or maybe the head's out of alignment. How do I test this theory? Because there's a control track pulse on the PAL tapes. I would literally need a blank tape with nothing on it, and I don't think I have one of those. So taking a look at the layout here, you've got it's coming out of the supply reel, and it's got your full erase head, then it goes up all the way around the video head, and then it goes to, I'm assuming this is probably called the ace head, like beta, and then back into the cassette. So the control track head, audio head, and everything is up here. I wonder if it just needs a cleaning. Holy crap, that's what it was. It was the freaking control track. Oh man, I'm gonna have a blast with these tapes. This is gems. So that blanking, I'm wondering if it's just the tape's kind of crap. Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me.
You are doing a plug. All I know is that I feel young again. I feel more like a woman. Let me touch them.
Free tickets for the new Bundolo show. They also work for men.
CBC, British Columbia.
Next taping November 20th.
The BC economy is in a slump these days, and for many British Columbians, it's bad news. I'm Wendy Strasdine. Join me, Frank Fry, John Daly, and Pam McKenzie for a special report on the BC economy. Surviving the 80s, November 18th on Pacific Report. A look at how we're weathering the storm and how it's changing us.
CBC, British Columbia.
The CBC Midday News with Bill Good Jr.
Good afternoon. United States President Ronald Reagan...
Well, this one's got a tone on one... Oh! Oh, it's another Ford video.
This year, Ford, the leader in 4x4 sales over the past 4 years, will offer tough four-wheel drive pickups and versatile four-wheel drive Broncos. They're designed to provide Ford 4x4 toughness, plus good ride and handling, greater fuel efficiency, and convenience, both off and on the road.
d'obtenir le maximum de puissance.
With the front wheels
Grâce à ses
pulling
roues
and
avant
rear
qui
wheels
tirent et à ses
pushing,
roues arrière qui
a
poussent,
four-wheeler
un
moves
véhicule
through
tout-terrain
sand,
peut
mud,
passer dans le
snow,
sable, la
across
boue, la
rough
neige
terrain,
et les terrains
and up or down
accidentés
steep
et
slopes
grimper et
much
descendre
easier than a
les pentes
conventional
abruptes plus
two-wheel drive
facilement qu'un
vehicle.
véhicule ordinaire à 2 roues motrices.
Well, I had my first snapped tape, this Earthquakes and Volcanoes Ministry of Education Province of British Columbia tape. PEMC. Don't know what that stands for. Program VPA 94. It's from the Sahali Junior Secondary School Library in Kamloops, BC.
This mission accomplished something else. It proved again, and better than ever before, how pliable the orbiter is as a spacecraft. Wouldn't you say, Leo?
I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Coming through that very high wind he had to encounter in making that critical last turn.
Newfoundland realizes that it will not be possible to reach substantial agreement on the various subjects discussed during the summer of 1980. We have therefore agreed to defer matters of vital importance to our people in order to accomplish that substantial agreement which is possible with respect to patriation and the amending formula.
Indigestion. Name products on the show. The ruling came down, eh?
Okay. Good day. How's it going?
Me puke.
Welcome to the Great White North. I'm.
What's kind of neat, and I can't really find any information online, just some quick Googling. When you Google U-Matic cassette sizes and whatever, maybe I'll check the Wikipedia. All I get is people offering to digitize these. There's 2 different sizes. So this is the one that came with the VTR. UCA 20. I'm assuming that's maybe 20 minutes. It seemed like there was more on there. Maybe not. And this big ass one that I believe is a 60-minute. Oh. Yeah, hard to tell. Is that the outer reel or is that just a cover? But yeah, I don't know what the 2 different ones are called. But if I power this on, you'll see that putting this small tape in, it catches deeper in the machine. There's little right there and there. There's little spring-loaded pieces that this goes in between. So it freely goes in, but if I grab the larger tape, it just kind of pushes those down, or maybe there's a track they go in. No, it just pushes them down. Oh, I see. Yeah, they're loose, so it's easy peasy. Another thing I noticed is, let me get this cover off here. Another interesting thing I've noticed with this machine is if you just power it on with no tape inside, it just spins the motor. But if you go and pop a tape in, or cassette, it will partially load and then power down the head drum motor. And it leaves this partial load when you're fast forward or rewinding. I don't know why, because it's still pushed up against the head drum just a little bit. But why partial? Because it's touching the fully race head, but I don't think there's any feature on here to do a bulk fully race that I'm aware of. Maybe there's a button combination that'll just run it through at high speed. I don't know. But the control track and audio head's over here, and this is too old to do any sort of real-time counter like that partial load that they did in VHS. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it shuts off like that. I'm really not familiar with this format at all. This is just a learning experience for me. So what I can do now is I can use the remote, this giant, like look at the size of this thing, remote, to go and watch some tapes. And one feature I really wish this machine had, but it's just too old for, is a cue and review. Because when you're going through tapes looking for stuff, it would be real nice to do that. I mean, at least it has a visual still pause. Apologies for the rolling frame there. But if I were to say fast forward and press fast forward, it'll fully unload and go into full fast forward. And then if I go and hit play, it'll have to load back up. That is a beautiful, beautiful blue glow. These are LEDs. Is this like a neon lamp? Because I think this, no. That's clearly an LED. I'm looking at this in person. That's an LED. What the hell is that? It's looking a little bit aqua colored on the camera. It's got a bit of a green tinge, but in person it is a deep, beautiful blue. Obviously not a blue LED. This is about almost 30 years before blue LEDs were even a thing. So what is it? Is that a neon bulb, or is that an incandescent with just a really nice blue filter? I bet that's just an incandescent. It's on here too. Let's take this cover off. Wait, what? These are all incandescent? These all look incandescent. Wow, those are just really, really good lenses. I swear to you, they fooled me. Yeah, they're just little incandescent bulbs. But if you look on here, that red, yeah, see, it looks a little pink on the camera. It looks a little bit more believable to be an incandescent in camera, but in real life, it's like a perfect deep red. Also, something that's kind of fun is all these controls are backwards. So you'll see the arrow. Can you see the arrow? If I go like this. See, there's this arrow etched on the plastic cover here going right to left. And that's because this is the supply reel and this is the take-up reel. It goes backwards. So the order of buttons is similar to those compact cassette players or compact cassette recorders where the tape sits upside down and you have rewind on the right and fast forward on the left. I'm assuming Sony must have had some proprietary screwdriver for these screws. They're flathead and they have a little round thing in the middle. It doesn't look like it's hex or anything. It looks just circular. But man, using flathead screws on a piece of equipment like this, where it's hard to get them captive on a screwdriver, pain in the butt. So they must have had some special tool for that. This thing's now flipped on its top because I want to take this board off and show underneath. I swear if this thing ever breaks electronically, I'm done. This is not something that I could easily service. This is absolutely insane. Apologies for the terrible lighting, but this will not fit on my workbench. So to get at the underside of the mechanism, there's two screws here that you remove. And then it's got a little hinged pivot area that brings you to the underside. So you've got this massive, like, thick ass fucking belt. Look at the size of that. It's in good shape. Now that appears to drive, it must be the take-up and supply reels. Ooh, something feels sticky on the underside there. This belt feels fine, but I feel something sticky below it. What is that? Oh, there's like glue holding it together. That's what I'm feeling. Okay, good. It's not a belt. I was worried there was a perished belt in there. This goes to here. And then this is the motor? Yeah, this is the drive motor. So this is where everything comes off of. So this motor drives here. This is the video head drum. And here's your electronic brake to keep it perfectly at 1800 RPM. I'm assuming it's 1800 RPM like VHS and beta. So that's driven with a flat belt off the motor. And then another flat belt goes to the capstan flywheel here. And then this belt actually has these little pulleys it rests on that goes to this intermediary and then goes to the take-up and supply reel. Cool. Now I guess the motor that loads and unloads the tape must be on the top side. Unless there's some sort of clutch that engages it to this main motor here. This is like a synchronous AC motor on the top. Oh, that's got a lot of weight to it there. This is built like a tank. There, it's all put back together. Beautiful big wood panels on the side. I'm leaving this anti-theft sticker. I like it. But what's nice is because this is such a, I don't want to say pro gear, but it was definitely not like consumer stuff. It was sold as a very professional piece of video equipment. This cover, which I haven't put the screws on for the back, it's just got 2 screws that hold it in place, comes off, and I can easily access the heads for cleaning. And what's neat on here is, see this little access hatch on the back? That's for the removable RF modulator, same as on the early Betamax machines. So this, how modern VCRs would have a 3 or 4 switch, modern. This unit here, RFU 204FW. This is fixed at channel 4. Which makes sense because this would have been sold here in Winnipeg and we had a channel 3. So yeah, you used to use channel 4 back in the day. Well, you could use channel 3 and just put up with the cross-channel interference, but whatever. There, gave it a little cleaning. I think it cleaned up fairly nicely. Still got some scuffs on it here. Some magic erase might take these black scuffs off, but the sort of metal pieces here have some scuffs. The only unfortunate thing is the standard Value Village thing, which is someone stole the knobs. And I don't want to just put any knobs on there. I mean, tracking's fine. I can adjust it without the knob. And it's not like I'm going to be recording a ton on this. So, you know, that's fine. But it would be nice to have it complete. You know, you like having it complete, especially when it came with this remote. One thing I actually haven't shown is, let's look at the back of this. Now, back when I first got this, I planned to buy some of these UHF style RF connectors. I don't remember what their name is, but they have a little like bite around the edge and they're big threaded things. These were very common back when this machine was made, and they were originally used for composite video on, you know, machines that were very early in the composite video days. Oh yeah, and this is the connector for the remote. Look at that. Very bespoke remote. See it in there. So regarding the video, you have for recording video in, and then your 2 audio channels, usually on professional gear, referred to as channel 1 and 2, but could also be used for left and right for music. One of these TV connectors that has sort of video in and video out. So if your TV had one of these connectors, you could record off the tuner on the TV onto the VCR, because of course this doesn't have a tuner. Then you have your RF out, so this is your output section. Color lock, haven't played around with that. I think that it's probably working fine. And for video out, for capturing, I've just been jamming a piece of wire in here. And that's because I meant to order these and I just never did. So there we go. Go into there, you know, super janky, but it works. But I will be ordering some proper connectors. But of course, there's one last thing to do. Make a recording. This is one of the tapes that appears to be blank. I'm just gonna rewind it. I played through a little bit to make sure there was nothing on it. And I believe for the end-to-end to work, I will need to hit record. So how does this work here? Do I... Ah, okay, cool. So yeah, record turns on the end-to-end. Let me set up the DVD player. Ha! Listen to that. I have my phone sitting beside it. Simply not designed for today's modern world. Anyway, I've got the test pattern set up, filming on my old phone because I like it better. And yeah, I got record set up, so if we do that, I think, well, we're not doing any audio, so setting the levels doesn't matter. So I think I just hit forward now. Nope. Okay, so I need to hit record forward. Yes. All right. Quite the difference between the TV and the HDMI capture. It's always with purple. So purple here looks perfect. And the capture has the ringing in it. We'll see if you see it in the actual capture. Also, there's a ton. Let's see how well this is coming out here. There is a ton of noise artifacting on the edges coming out of this VCR. I assume it's just because the circuitry in this thing is what, 52 years old? Jesus, it's 52 years old. Yeah, it's amazing it's doing anything right now. Another example of the difference, all this chroma artifacting and flickering on the CRT, not present at all in the up conversion.
Faster, Willie, faster! Now we give them the bikes, no one sues.
What if they're dead, sir?
Then we ride these bikes to Mexico, and freedom, Willie, freedom!
Freedom! He'll turn you in at the first toll booth.
Don't fool with me, boy.
WKRP in Cincinnati will be back after this.
Anyway, that's all this video was. Just kind of wanted to show off this giant piece of equipment. On the topic of its size, I just hauled this thing over to the bathroom because the bathroom scale doesn't like carpet, and it weighs exactly 60 pounds if that's to be trusted. So yeah, not very light. The weight's not the biggest issue, it's that when I'm carrying it width-wise, it's so freaking wide, just over 23 inches, that I can't walk through the doorway to my office holding this with my hands, because that doorway is 28 inches minus the little stoppers, plus my hands on either side. So I have to kind of turn it sideways or tilt it out and carry it lengthwise so it wants to pull me over that way. What I would like to do is get this thing set up side by side with my Sony SL5800, and then I have a RCA VDT 300 or 350, I can't remember. Big chunky RCA top loader that I like the look of, but it's one of the models that doesn't support SLP. It's only a 2-speed model, so 2-hour and 4-hour SPLP, which is cool, but I would like one a little bit more capable. But I'd like to line these all up on a shelf, and when I finally find a home for this TV, have the whole thing set up like that. I think that would look sweet. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.
Snow skates. Just fit them on your boots. It's easy. Wow, you can really streak.